Namaskar. Let us today talk about Satya. Satya is the second point of yama and yama sadhana, which is the yogic morality principles and also the very foundation of spiritual path, of spirituality. When we move along the path from imperfection to perfection, we require significant amount of self-confidence. Without that self-confidence, to make even one step along the path of spirituality is very, very difficult. So many doubts will come, so many fears will come, so much cynicism will come, so many things, so many obstacles. There has to be a constant flow of inspiration springing forth from within your heart, propelling you forward, motivating your forward movement. If your heart is stronger, when your heart grows stronger, your confidence increases, your inspiration becomes constant and stable. And there is a particular practice for strengthening your heart, and that is precisely the practice of Satya. Satya. The word Satya is a Sanskrit word. It comes from Sat. Sat means something which does not undergo any change, which is always the same. And this word refers to the supreme truth, supreme unchanging spiritual reality. Satya means the practice of ensconcing oneself in truth, cultivating the truthfulness within our mind. What is the essence of spirituality? What is it all about? Spirituality is about seeing oneness, about entering the spiritual realm. When we meditate upon the idea that everything is Supreme Consciousness. Supreme Consciousness is all there is. It is about oneness and bliss. That blissful entity pervades everything. But when I open my eyes and I look around, I see the pine tree, I see the snow, I see the sky, I see so many things. I don't see any oneness. I don't see any spirituality. My mind, recognizing many, it doesn't see one. Why does it so? Why does it happen? Because there is an idea that there is a veil of ignorance, there is a veil of delusion upon my mind. The mind learned how to become deceitful, how to deceive me. I'm very good at deceiving others, and I'm very good at deceiving myself. That is the condition. And searching for truth means teaching the mind, slowly, gradually, teaching the mind how to follow the path of truthfulness. In simple words, Satya means following the path of truthfulness. But if you think deeper, there is something bigger than that. What is the ultimate truth of this universe? The essence of this universe is benevolence. Nature propels every being on the path of evolution. Everything evolves to the greater and greater understanding and happiness. Nothing in nature is malevolent. Everything is benevolent. And if you are natural, you will be also like this. But we learn how to follow the path of deceitfulness. And in this way we become malevolent. Falsehood is the mother of all atrocities. Internally we know that benevolence is good and malevolence is bad. I should follow the path of benevolence. So you cannot do anything bad unless you justify internally, unless you deceive yourself into believing that something bad is something good. If you listen deeper within your heart, all those justifications will fall apart, and only truth will remain, however inconvenient it might be. But all the justification will fall. But when we stay at the level of our mind and the level of our intellect superficially, then we can justify so many things and we can move along the destructive path. So Satya is about truthfulness, and that truthfulness is prerequisite for benevolence. And benevolence is the very essence, the very spirit of Satya. It is not the goal of life not to speak lies. But we don't speak lies. Why? Because we want to firmly establish ourselves on the path of benevolence. The definition, Sanskrit definition, yogic definition of this Satya is parahitartam vaun manasa yathartatvam satyam. It means parahitartam, it means para is others, hita means welfare, physical, all-round welfare, physical welfare, psychic welfare, spiritual welfare. Vaun manasa, manasa mind, and vak is speech. But in this context, it means not only speaking with words, but speaking with your entire being. You can speak through your hands, you can speak through your legs, you can speak in different ways. So your expression towards the world, what does it carry? The spirit of welfare for others or something else? So Satya means that all your actions of intellect and all your actions of expression, manifestation of your mind in the world is guided by the spirit of welfare. That is Satya. How to follow Satya? We should start in the inner realm. The worst kind of deception is self-deception. We justify things internally. We permit ourselves to follow the path of evil, to follow the path of destruction. So, and we can say that I don't have strength to follow the path of goodness. But the beginning is with admitting your true motivations, admitting your mistakes, admitting your defects. You know, there is this organization called Anonymous Alcoholics, Alcoholic Anonymous. It is very interesting that their path, 12 steps, is very much spiritual path. And the very beginning, they admit, I am an alcoholic. Because when you admit, then your consciousness is awakening within your heart. Before that, the heart is so weak. Heart is so weak. You don't find any inspiration, you don't find any strength to rectify yourself. So rectification starts with truthfulness. So they say, I am an alcoholic. And they say, I spoke with many members of this organization, they say, it is very important for us to follow the path of truthfulness. Because they find, if you lie, then your heart becomes weak and you don't have the strength to fight with your problem, with your disease. So first we start at the inner level. Throw out all the justifications, throw out all the everything that we hide behind. See the truth. Then, when we're dealing with others, I'm about to say something to someone. I should think, why am I saying this? Do I want to humiliate that person? Do I want to please that person? Do I want to get something from that person? Do I want that that person will do something that he doesn't actually want to do? Do I want to manipulate him? Or truly, is my mind guided by the spirit of welfare to him or to her? And if my mind is guided with the spirit of welfare, then yes, I will say. And if not, I will not say. It is very hard practice, I know. But even if in 20% of the cases we do like that, already our condition will improve. And the condition of the environment around us will improve. Because if you are saying something inspiring, I want to assist the welfare of the person in all the spheres. If you're saying something inspiring, you get inspired, the person gets inspired, the world gets inspired, and things start to change. It is a beautiful feeling. Then there is a little bit tricky part in this practice of Satya. There are two words in Sanskrit. One is called Rita and another one is called Satya. And in most cases they are almost the same. But sometimes they are different. Rita means stating the fact. Say as it is. And Satya means benevolent truthfulness. So if there is no conflict between Rita and Satya, we follow Rita. Speak as it is. But if there is a conflict, let's say the truth will harm the world, then we follow the path of Satya. Someone is singing very badly, and you can say, you know, brother, you don't have any musical talent. Better you you keep quiet. It is true, and you express your feeling. I don't believe in you. I don't think you will ever become something worthy. You honestly speak about your feelings, but this will hurt person, will discourage person, and maybe he could one day become great, and now he won't. So, and also at the same time, we should not deceive the person. Oh, you sing so great. You sing so great. He will be pumped up. His pride will be pumped up. It will not also good. It will not be good for him. So you have to find your way to convey the truth, but at the same time, encourage the person. If you insist on your musical rehearsals, you will definitely develop. I like very much your determination. I like very much your enthusiasm. And yes, there are some things here and here you could correct. I advise there are some classes and courses. Very nice practice. So that will be the path of Satya. Or sometimes really speaking the truth will harm enormously. Means blindly, if you follow this principle blindly. Let's say a criminal pursuing an innocent person, one intent to harass that person, and that person is running away and somehow hiding somewhere, and the criminal is coming to you and is inquiring, where did that person go? And if you follow the path of plain honesty, you will say, yes, such and such place. But that will result in some atrocity done. And you will be partly responsible for that atrocity. What should you do? You should not say truth in this case. You should rather mislead the criminal and save that person from atrocity. So in this way, Satya will always require us to utilize our rationality, to utilize our wisdom, self-reflection. Always we need to analyze, what is my motives? What are my motives? What is the primary force behind these words and action? And in the yogic code of conduct, there are some guidelines. Later on I will introduce these codes to you, but just few. Don't speak ill of others. Don't criticize or indulge in mudslinging. Your voice should be as sweet as honey. Always use respectful words about someone who is absent. If you want to convey something negative to someone, say, "Excuse me please," and then start your talk. Don't hit anyone with harsh or pinching words. Say what you want to say indirectly. So it is a principle of civility, of gentleness. We want to inspire, we want to encourage, we want to create happiness in all the levels for all beings. So, for the next week, especially, and for the whole life, try to analyze your thoughts. Think. And if the spirit of malevolence comes, you want to humiliate someone or want to say something harsh, try to replace it in your mind with the spirit of benevolence. Find something good and say, or don't say anything. Try to practice that. You will see there will be so much strength, so much inspiration, so much motivating force awakening within you. You will find yourself a new man, and you will like to follow this principle for entire life. So let us walk along the path of benevolence, along the path of Satya. Let us share this principle with everyone by our example, by our teachings, by our sharing this video, by everything, by all our expression. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to this channel. Let us stay together. In next video I will explain the practice of asteya. And that is very important for maintaining material security, for maintaining a very fearless confidence. Namaskar.